Welcome, and welcome to the Heatcast with myself, Seán Ryan. Joined with me on the show is one of the finest from Derry. It's Gooside. How you getting on, my man?
What's going on, man? I'm good. Thanks for bringing me on.
It's not a bother, not a bother. Now, where did you come up with this name, Gooside? Like, what's the story behind that?
It's my last name with Goo. It was a nickname a friend gave me years ago, and I remember I was sat trying to think of an artist name. I was like, I'm just gonna go with Gooside. Like, it's simple enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's straight to the point, straight to the point. And do you mind me asking, like, why was it given to you as Gooside? Like, what was the goo part about?
It was just I don't know. Like, my mates chat a lot of shit, to be fair, so they just come up with weird stuff. So I don't know. That's
That's the
sort of a
imagination
question
of a
for him.
child, like.
Yeah, I suppose.
And why did you kind of choose rap music? Because kind of you've got that emo-esque kind of vibe. Why rap
Mm.
was the way you wanted to portray it instead of doing it through opera?
Well, the original, like, when I was kind of thinking about getting into music, like, maybe when I was 15, 16, like, I wanted to kind of go in, like, a pop punk direction, kind of something like that. So, like, the only problem with that is I didn't have a band. Like, I was on my own. So I was like, that's not going to work. And then, I don't know, I slowly kind of gravitated towards rap in terms of just like my music taste in general. And then, I found people like Lil Peep and Juice WRLD, and I was like, what, this is kind of a bridge from pop punk to that, because obviously, like, they're on their own. They just get a beat that's kind of inspired by these pop punk bands and stuff like that. And I was like, this is it. It's perfect.
And do you play any instruments yourself?
No, I play Star Shopping on guitar, and that's it. That's all I can do.
Fair enough. It's more than me anyway.
Uh,
And you were mentioning there that, like, they just grab a beat and they go. Do you make beats yourself or do you outsource?
for the most part, I outsource. I have kind of two main producers. One of them being a guy from Belfast called Bud, and I rarely produce myself just because I don't feel like I'm there yet. I've still got a bit to learn.
And do you think you'll be producing the future for artists, or you think just leave it to the professionals?
I think I much prefer writing. Like, I like the writing and recording process rather than like the putting everything together. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I would probably just continue to outsource and leave it to other people, because I like working with other people anyway. So I feel like it kind of, I don't know, that it works better for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And, like, you're kind of, I don't know what way to say it, but, like, you're kind of getting your head into the game as such. Like, you've had so many features. You were on Shmez's recent album, Ghost Stories, and you were on Mike the Martian as well, who we had on the show the last time. With Hellraiser, like, it's you're kind of getting that publicity going and stuff like that, and there's kind of a good vibe towards you and stuff like that. But if someone was starting off, like, who's just about to enter the scene, like, they got a microphone off their parents or something like that, about to hit the beat, like, what advice would you say to them before they record their track or before they kick in?
Um, just I don't know. Don't stress about it, I suppose, and just keep working. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only way you're going to learn and progress with your music is by staying consistent with it and just making stuff constantly and over again. Do you know what I mean? Like, not every song you make you're going to release, and I feel like that's kind of a lesson I learned a little too late on. So just have fun with it and don't stress too much.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and you got to take it one step at a time and stuff like that. As an artist, as I was saying, you're on so many features, and I think it's probably one of the best kind of marketing you can get right now is being on so many tracks and stuff like that. But is it the only way that you promote yourself as an artist?
No, I do the usual. I'll run Instagram ads and stuff when it comes to releases. But I'd say probably my biggest one is collaborating with other people. Just again, because I enjoy working with other people anyway. So I think the fact that I do it for pretty much every song, like, if you look at most of my releases, like, I'll have a feature on it, and that's just because I enjoy working with other people, simply enough. So I suppose it kind of helps promote me a bit more.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I was looking through that list. I was looking on Spotify and SoundCloud and YouTube even as well. And, like, there's always someone else on the beat, and it's like, man, this guy is so popular. It just gives that, like, that thought into someone who's just viewing your music for the first time, like, oh my god, he knows so many people to feature on his tracks and stuff like that. So it's a good idea to have. Besides yourself, and like you've already delivered heat with Shmeza and Mike the Martian, as I mentioned, who else do you think is going to be delivering heat in 21?
There's so many people in this scene that are like so underrated in my opinion, but like one of them has got to be Khalifa. I imagine, you know, I think Mike was talking about on the last episode about him working on like a new project already, which is, you know, mad. He's just dropped an album and, you know, he's already working on new stuff. So I think those two are definitely definitely going to be working hard this year. But, you know, again, you know, there's so many talented people in this scene, like I can't name them off the top of my head, you know what I mean? There's just too many.
Yeah, it's pretty much a list. Like you could be there all day listening it off. Like, but there is so much talent on this island. You know, what do you think? Like the scene is always growing, and like, you know, when people compare us to the Irish scene compared it to the UK or the US, like people say, "Oh, we're a bit behind." What do you think the reason is for that? That we are that bit behind people? Like,
I think I feel like there's quite a few different factors of it, but I think the main thing is like local support. I just don't think like the general public like take the rap scene here as serious as they should. Like I don't know, whenever someone hears someone rapping in an Irish accent, just from like comments I've seen and stuff like that, they're like, why is this guy doing this? Like this isn't what, like, doesn't sound right. Do you know what I mean? Just because they've got an Irish accent. Obviously myself, I'm not Irish, but you know, I love you. And I don't know, I think it's just a little bit frowned upon still by most people for whatever reason.
there is that kind of stigma, like you have to kind of rap in a kind of more American-esque sound, or, you know, more UK. And, you know, I think you're dead right with that, that there needs to be a bit more local support.
No, absolutely. I think another problem is like, you know, people will say like, oh, why are you rapping in Irish? Like, you're Irish, like, why are you rapping? This doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't sound right. Like, what are you doing? And then when people do change up their accent, I've seen this from like, oh, I'm not gonna like name names or anything, but there's like older people in the music scene that have like berated younger artists for, you know, singing in an American accent, and, you know, saying, oh, why aren't you, you know, repping the Irish heritage kind of thing, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's like there's no winning. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make much sense to me.
Do you think there's many opportunities for Irish rappers to kind of get their name out there?
Um, Again, I think mainstream media, there's a lack of support. Like, there's been like a few like articles and stuff here like that I've actually, you know, seen online myself from bigger kind of news outlets, like covering the scene that's supposedly like blowing up here and stuff. But past that, there isn't really that much. And then I don't know, in terms of pages to promote, like one of the biggest Irish rap pages, I think it's inactive now on YouTube, and it's got like nearly 500,000 subscribers. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but and you know, that page would only really post drill and stuff like that, and there's just so much more to this scene that isn't really covered by many pages.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with what page you're referring to. I would agree with you that there is that kind of, you know, there's more lights on people who rap drill than who rap kind of your style of music. Like, I would totally agree with that.
Mm.
And I would say as well that like it does, you know, hinder the possibility for younger artists to say, oh, will I go down that emo route where I mightn't get that, you know, the same publicity, or I won't get the same opportunities to be on stage and stuff compared to someone who does it in a UK accent who's doing drill. It's, you know, and they get the more publicity. I feel like it's just a bit unfair. And like, this platform is, you know, for anyone who's watching, listening, like, this is for people who, you know, doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, as long as you're representing Ireland, like, this is what this platform's all about. It's about supporting each other and stuff like that. What's kind of your aim in, because we're 3 months in, well, 2.5 months in, but what would you say is your aim as an artist to get done this year that you didn't get done last year, or like where you kind of go another step up that ladder?
I think just like last year was kind of all about getting my name out there more with different collaborations and just like meeting new people in the scene, which is what I definitely did. Like, I think, you know, maybe January last year, I didn't really know anyone still. and you know that 1 year changed so much. You know what I mean? Like I've met so many more artists and know so many more talented ones. But this year I think like I just want to do, like I want to focus on continuing to kind of build my brand. Obviously, you know, I've had a bit of a rebrand recently, so that's kind of the main aim for me at the moment, and collaborate with even more new artists from, you know, not only here but like just over the world.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like as you were saying, like you've collaborated with so many artists and stuff like that. And I hope you collaborate a lot more, because you're a talented young lad and stuff like that. And like you have the skill set. I know you have them. And I can't wait to see what you have next. Like obviously, as we were kind of mentioned before the show, like COVID is obviously impacting the scene and stuff like that. But did you find it hard yourself to kind of come up with concepts, come up with ideas for tracks?
Yeah, I think like being in the tech in Derry, like because obviously I'm on a music course myself. Like being in that creative environment, constantly surrounded by music and like using the studio and stuff. Like I don't know, there's just constant music being like wrote and recorded and stuff like that. And then it was a bit of a culture shock kind of going into lockdown, and I didn't actually have a setup to record, so the first kind of couple of months were a bit stressful because I really didn't know like what I was going to do in terms of recording. But I managed to kind of scrounge a pretty basic setup together, and started recording some tracks. Before I even had a mic stand, I'd, you know, take my Focusrite and that out to the car and record in there, just because I don't know, I wanted a bit of privacy, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was hard to kind of stay motivated because, again, obviously, like going into a lockdown, just kind of being in the same room every day, like it's kind of gets to you a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But I was somehow able to work through that anyway.
Yeah, I know different people find it, you know, some people found it amazing in the sense of, you know, they had that extra time to make these tracks and stuff like that. You kind of heard it from the start of the lockdown that people were like, I've a load of free time now, we can make all these tracks. And then, you know, some people have a different views of it where it's, you know, like yourself, where it's like, you know, the heart and soul of your music was practically ripped off you, you know, and then you had to kind of redevelop yourself and figure out like, okay, how do I get into that mojo mood of making music and stuff? What's kind of the first thing that you'd like to do after COVID in terms of music?
Um, probably try and play a live show because obviously that's something I haven't done yet. I imagine the nerves will probably kick in on the night, but you know, right now, like I'm definitely like up for it. I want to try that just because, again, it's something I haven't done and it's something I will obviously aim to do in the future. So kind of as soon as possible, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I said this question earlier on to you before the show. You know, and I mentioned at the start of this, Derry's finest. Can you explain that for me a little bit?
Um, yeah, well, it's kind of when I dropped my first EP on SoundCloud back in, I think it was June 2019. It started to pick up a little bit of traction, and you know, my mates had come on Xbox with me and kind of say, oh, he's Derry's finest, you know. So I don't know, I kind of took that on board and kind of, you know, took that meme and just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna put it in the bio. Just, I don't know, it kind of it gives me a bit of memories like coming back. You know, whenever I read it, I'm like, oh wow, okay, like I've kind of I remember, you know, making that EP and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like it holds a bit of kind of sentimental value more than me just being cocky.
And you released that EP, Derry's beloved emo rapper. Where do you, or sorry, I've lost my train of thought. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, will we be seeing another EP in 21?
Yes, I can confirm. Yeah, I'll be releasing something at some point this year. I'm not sure when. It's kind of it's in its basic form at the moment, so you know, it's just the bare bones, the foundation kind of thing. So they'll probably, I'd say after summer, like at the latest.
Okay, and like obviously, some people might be wondering who do you have in mind for collaborating with you, because you're a man of features. So I'm gonna say there's gonna be a lot of features.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that I haven't worked with yet that I definitely do want to work with. Not only kind of localized, but like, you know, there's a couple of people in England that I definitely want to involve in a project, but it's just a case of getting them on board. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and look, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. And you're a talented young lad. Like I'm gonna presume that there's another few tracks that you have in the works that are coming out from other artists, because as I said, you're a man of features, and good features at that. Is there anything you would like to kind of plug on the show before we kind of wrap it up?
I honestly, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I have a music video shoot very soon. That's probably something that I should mention. So I'd say keep your eye out for that. And that'll be with a new song as well. So keep an eye out on that, I suppose.
I'll be keeping my eyes out and my ears, because I know it's going to be flames. And we're going to wrap it up here on the Heatcast. To everyone watching on YouTube and everyone listening on Spotify and all those other media apps, make sure to follow us on Instagram. And if you'd also like to support the show, donate to our Patreon. Link is in the description. And I will see you in the next one.
Oh my God, well fed, well fed, well fed, well fed.
Every time she goes online, she don't feel fine, but Stella is the best, already nice, so I tell her when that she's alright. She's been going offline, 'cause every time she goes online,